and pretty amazing that you're now a published author. The book has had a reasonable amount of success, and
Hmm.
got quite a few reviews. Uh, is anything changed in terms of what the wisdom of authenticity means to you?
I think it has, John. Like we've discussed in previous times, I think it's caused a lot of introspection of my own person, the way that I live my life, the way that I relate to other people, and am more true with myself.
When you say,
Um, Sorry.
I was just going to say, when you say that you're more truth with yourself, um, uh, what specifically are you referring to?
I'm referring to the fact that although I have felt that, I am living the way that I believe I should live as far as my own person is concerned, having authored the chapter and basically revisiting my life's journey,
Mhm.
um, I started to see little areas where um, it's been a bad habit, if you want to put it that way, to just slick over some stuff which in reality has been like kicking your foot on something that's sticking out of the ground. You stumble over it and you think, oh, I'll have to do, and we say, oh well, the rest of my life's pretty okay, excepting for the fact of this little area where it trips me up every now and again. Having gone through the exercise of writing about authenticity in the chapter and revisiting the context of my life experience, I've started to see that, hey, maybe you're not so squeaky clean when it comes to being authentic.
Right, yeah,
There's these little bits and pieces
yeah.
that you've made allowances for in your life and said they're not really important, when in reality, in the whole context of your living, they definitely are.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like we all have that. And for me personally, it's just a matter of course correct, having that awareness, as you said, and then course correcting and not being too hard on yourself. For me personally, just giving myself 1,000 second chances and that I'm doing the best that I can. And
Yeah,
I'm worth 1,000 second chances, mate, aren't you?
of course. Yes, I am. I am.
Yeah.
And this is why I think it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
a work in progress. That's the way I view it. I think now that you've become aware of your your little slip ups and failings and your shortcomings,
Yeah.
it's an area that over a period of time you can address without being too hard on you. It's a matter of saying that I am the best that I am today, but it's not the best that I can be
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. And so, what are some things that you do to course correct? Like, is it so like having that awareness, um, giving yourself like a bit of a break and realizing that, yeah, you're doing the best you can do. Is there anything else that do you do like any journaling or anything like that?
Yes, look, I do write, well, I don't know whether you'd call it a journal, but
Right,
last 20 odd years, probably more longer than that now, I
right.
used to write a daily diary of what I did for the day
Yeah, right.
and whatnot. Now, what I'm actually doing when I write for the day, I actually include my perspectives on what happened during the day, not just the actual instances of my job, my work, and the other things that I engage in during the day. It's basically from a emotional side of things, as how I see my day and how the things that have happened during the day have affected me. I've included that more and more as it's gone on, and instead of writing only a paragraph of okay, today I got up, had breakfast, I did this, that, and the rest of it, went to work, blah blah blah, met so and so, and came home. Rather than just the bones of that, the skeleton, I've basically fleshed out and basically offered myself my own opinions of how I related to what I did during the day. And I have found
Isn't it
then,
alignment with what you value? Is
yes,
it like an integrity with how you want to present yourself?
it's true. Yes, I feel that I feel that by on the keyboard, what has actually transpired during the day, I find out some of the weaknesses and the places where I guess I could have done better and been more authentic in the way I either related to somebody or I conscious my job to the best of my ability and being true to myself in the process.
Yeah, I think that's a huge one. And how valuable have you found it to be clear, have like a sense of clarity on what you value, what you stand for?
Then I think that's the baseline from which to start, John.
Yeah.
Um, I guess over the last 15 years or so, I've done a fair bit of personal life coaching of myself and other people, and basically I find that there's that common denominator is what is non-negotiable to you, what are your values, what are your belief structures, and how important are they to you as far as negotiability is concerned,
Mhm.
compromising, or saying no, this is an absolute. um, if you set yourself up with a set of beliefs and values at the bottom, at least you have a benchmark from which to go by from that perspective to see that, okay, everything I do or everything I attempt comes from a position of being authentic with my beliefs and values.
Yeah, I like that. And so then what does the wisdom of authenticity mean to you?
Well, I think the word wisdom sums a lot of it up. I've experienced a lot of life, and there's times in my life where I was never wise. I think all of us can look back on that and say that there are some places where wisdom sort of wasn't even a word we considered.
Yeah.
And as we've grown older, and I've looked back on my life and done a personal analysis of the way I've behaved in my choices and the way that I've related to other people. Um, if you're not authentic, then you don't need wisdom. It's as simple as that. If you don't think authenticity is important to you, well, you might as well throw the baby out with the bathwater because it doesn't mean a scrap of anything, really. It's only when you actually stand for something that you gain the wisdom from life experience that tells you, hey, I'm charting my course in the right direction or I'm not. And to me, it's been extremely valuable in being able to sort out where I've been congruent and incongruent with my beliefs and values, and the wisdom that comes with that helps you to mature in your perspectives. It helps you to mature in your life's journey, and it helps to mature in your personal developmental space. You know how you are as a person, how you how you are true to yourself, whether you can go to bed at night with a clear conscience and say, well, I did, and and there are a couple of things I need to pick up on, but that's tomorrow. And so today we have made one step in the right direction. Tomorrow's another step.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. And yeah, basically just doing the best that you can with your level of awareness. And
Mm.
How, like, have you ever given your like advice to your children about, who they are and values and that type of thing?
Yes, I have. And I guess the most important thing is the fact that they actually listen to what I've got to say for a change.
Yeah.
There were times when they reckoned that I didn't know what the hell I was on about, so why should they listen to me?
Yeah.
And I guess that comes from their simplicity in in thinking, well, if Dad hasn't got it right, what right is how to run my life? And therefore, they call you out on your own inauthenticity, if you want to put it, or your incongruency, the fact that you're not being true, so why should we bother? But
Mm.
nowadays, fortunately, and I'm not bragging about this, but the fact is that they appreciate now the wisdom that I've got from my own personal development and my own journey to understand that what Dad's doing is basically in alignment with what he said he's doing. The walk is not different from the talk.
Yeah, right. You have that alignment.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
and
I
and I'll just add this a little bit, John.
Yeah, sure.
Um, the experience that I was talking about with one of my children in the book, I'm still going through that, believe it or not. My boy is presently, when he's not working on the mine, is living with us, and he has been for the last 2 or 3 months.
Mhm.
And and the amount of progress we've made in understanding each other, working out what is most important in our beliefs and values and how to stick by it, has been an absolute, well, it's been an absolute blessing to me in the fact that he and I have grown a lot closer again to what we were before, even when I was writing the chapter. And and he's going through another rough patch in his life, not of his own, not of his making, but yeah, and we can talk as mature, grown people, knowing that we are being totally honest with ourselves, totally honest where we're going, and what we believe in, and what's important to us, and from that point alone, there comes a developmental of faith and trust in each other and the direction in which we're going. We know that we each have each other's back, which I believe is very important to me, and it's also important to him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everything happens for a reason, and it's a blessing. I mean, obviously you don't want to wish, intense challenges on or hardship on anyone. But
No,
I find there's a lot of cases there's blessings in disguise, and it seems like
sure,
you've been able to, yeah, to find the silver lining in the clouds, so to speak.
that's true. Yeah,
And that's, I guess, all you could really hope for in that moment. Yeah, I mean, I really, yeah, appreciate you, yeah, sharing that. And you shared a lot. You did quite a lot of excavating of your own life, what you went
mm,
through, different turning
mm,
points. Did you receive? I know it was completely different times when you were growing up. I believe in the late
mm,
50s, 60s.
mm,
Um, did you receive, was there much advice in terms of like, was authenticity? I mean, today authenticity is a real buzzword, and a lot of people will have an opinion or an idea or a concept of what that means for them. Was that ever spoken about in your reality growing up or as a young man? Or
no, I was brought up the old English way, the stiff upper lip. You just get on with life and you do what you're told, and
right.
don't rock the boat, and she'll be right, mate, and we'll just keep trucking. The end. That's the way it was.
Yeah.
Now, that was okay until I hit my teenage years and went to high school, and then all the wheels fell off because when you go to high school, it's like a fruit salad of different personalities and different people. Um, whereas when I was in a little primary school in a little country community as a preteen, it was like a little closed community. Now we went down to where we went. I went to the big city to go to high school, and I found that in a school of 500 or 600 kids, you were one person, and basically there was for every person there was a different way of looking at things and different ways, different values, different beliefs, different behaviours. The whole thing. It was a real witch's breakfast, John, and it was the start of the hip era, the free love and sex and drugs and the whole box and dice and shoot and match. And the reason was, I believe, was that kids could see in their parents two different standards of belief and behaviour. That you had the stiff upper lip, and it was all right while out in public you did the right thing, but when you're at home and whatever like that, you kick the shoes off and everything else, and basically did what you wanted to, and the questioning teenagers that I grew up with basically sort of said, well, you lot are a mob of hypocrites, and they came up in the hippie era with the old adage of finding yourself. In other words, finding yourself in my book was trying to find authenticity. You're trying to find what's reality, what's important to me, how consistent can you be, and is it the way that I can get satisfaction and happiness in myself out of life?
Mm-hmm.
And and a lot of kids went on the drug things and the free love and all the rest of it.
Right.
I was sort of halfway in between all, as far as that's concerned, because I was brought up fairly conservative, religious person. But it came to me as important that somewhere along the line, even though I had religious upbringing and everything else was very important, there were some things missing, John.
Mm,
Something's missing, and I realised that my life was not complete in itself because I did not have the wherewithal to walk the talk. I
right.
had the I had the intelligence to talk the talk, but not walk the walk.
Mm,
And to me, there was that ambivalence between being and doing,
mhm.
and the theory and the practice. It was such a challenging time, and a lot of my peers went through exactly the same sort of process as what I did.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Mm.
Um, Everyone just finding themselves and not really having like a voice of saying, this is what really is really happening here.
Well, I
And
didn't. I didn't have an operations manual, if you want to put it that way,
yeah.
as to how to sort out what you say you believe and what you actually do believe and put into practice.
Mm.
And
And
so you get all these people that go off on religious tangents. Then they get involved with communes. They get involved with way out philosophical organizations and stuff like that. But in reality, what they're just looking for is who am I
mm,
and what do I stand for and how do I do it?
yeah.
And that's exactly the pathway that I had to go down. And along the road, there was a lot of heartache. There was a lot of, and I had to get someplace out of a fairly dark spot. Actually, fortunately, to actually find a key to open up the fact that I could be something else than what I said that I was.
Mm,
I could actually be instead of just say that I was. I could actually um, put it into practice what I
mhm.
thought I was and how to do it. And those sort of things I think people are missing in a lot of life today.
Yeah, 100%. They are. And what are three things that people could do today to have a greater sense of discovering who they really are.
Well,
Not to
personally,
put you on the spot, mate. Sorry.
no, no, no. I'm just trying to put it in order. But the first thing I think I would do would get a sheet of paper out,
Yeah.
and I would say, well, what what are my beliefs about myself? What are my
Mm-hmm.
beliefs about the world?
Mm-hmm.
What do I value most in life? Who do I value most in life? And to me, and the other thing is it negotiable or not?
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first thing I'd do. Would go through and I would make a list of that because I did that myself, and it was quite revealing, really, when
Okay.
you work out what is negotiable and what is not. The second thing I would do would be to get myself immersed in books that the human psyche. I know some it might sound a bit boring, but there are authors that write books that you know help you understand that you are in control of your brain, that you are in control of your life, and do something about that. The other thing would be to find either a coach or a mentor or somebody that you could look up to, either talk to, um, communicate with, and say, "Hey, this is the mess of my life. How do I fix it?"
Mm-hmm.
Because, John, I don't care what anyone says. We can try and pull ourselves up by our shoelaces all that we like, but there will be little success unless you do get a bit of assistance. And I think an ancillary part to that is our spirituality. And I believe that we have an inherent spirituality in each of us. Ignition, external force, being, whether it be God, creator, omnipresence, providence, whatever you like to call it, supernatural power,
Yeah.
there is always extra help there if we only look for it.
Right. Yes. Asking, going within. I mean, it also
That's
could be
right.
asking. Yeah. You can find
Yep.
mentors in books, support in books,
Yes.
um, YouTube videos, seminars. There's
Yes.
so many different ways that you can, yeah, one-on-one coaching or mentorship or group coaching. I
Yeah.
feel like
We've got.
that
We're
wasn't
with the,
available when you were growing up.
no, no, we had nothing
Maybe the
like that.
books were there, but yeah,
Yes. Yeah. The books, but we had no internet,
no
no
YouTube.
computers. I didn't see a computer until I was about 23.
All right, must have been a real big computer.
It was. It was. It was actually at the university that I went to
Yeah,
do accountancy, and it was a room that was about, I suppose, 6 metres square, and it filled one complete wall.
right.
So there you go. And it was the
One
old
complete
MS
wall.
DOS. Yeah, and it
Wow.
was the old MS DOS one with the big reels like
I
like
think I
uh,
saw
tape.
one. Yeah, I did. I saw one on the internet or something like that. The old
Yeah,
old
yeah.
footage.
Now
Yeah, I
nowadays
never
you'll find
saw
one
one.
smaller
Yeah,
than that.
yeah, it's incredible. Yeah,
It
less
is,
than.
John.
Yeah,
And we
amazing.
would not be talking. We would definitely not be talking like this, mate. We'd
No,
be lucky
definitely
if,
not.
if you took a movie and mailed it to me, and I had a projector to put it on. Then we might be able to talk. 50 years ago, that's the way it was
Right.
was back then.
Yeah,
So
well, it's a miracle to have a phone connection. Your phones were,
well, it was.
yeah, to be able to talk on the other side of the world. And then when you could send a fax, I
Oh,
mean, I was like,
mate.
wow, like a fax that just came in from Germany. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had a. What did we have? We had a telegram. That telegram was the closest thing to a fax.
Right.
You
Okay.
actually wrote it on a piece of paper in cryptic language, and you paid per word to send this message by phone at the post office,
Wow.
and it went to the person's post box at the other end, not their telephone number or their computer. and they had to get it from the post office. So that communication now is instantaneous, whereas back then it was, oh yeah, telegram you might get, instead of the mail getting it next week, a telegram you might get it tomorrow.
Right.
But
Well, I mean,
but
technology evolves, and it's kind of like our journey as well. We evolve, and what I'm
exactly.
sure what you believed when you were 20, as opposed to what you believe when you were 30, 40, 50, 60, now in your 70s, completely different. And I find that that's that flexibility in, that's okay. I'll give myself a thousand second chances. In that, I'm constantly evolving and refining the way that I'm showing up in my world,
Mm,
and claiming that, that's of value to you, and living that, doing what you say you're going to do, and
mm,
the like. Is there
mm.
anything else that you find is really pertinent to you living the wisdom of authenticity?
I I think my biggest takeaway out of what I've got so far is hard on yourself, like you said. Don't be too judgmental because we're all fallible human beings.
That's a difficult one.
Two, the two is be the bestest me that I possibly can.
Mhm,
And the three, I don't know everything. I
mhm,
don't know everything. And that I do know, I put into practice to the best of my ability every day. And that fourthly, I do not prejudge anyone else because we're all going through our life journey. We're all have our own special route that we go through in life journey, and we all have different hardships and different failings, and our personalities for everyone on this earth are different. And I believe that if our thoughts are true and our actions are true to course, our beliefs are true, and we are willing to stick by them, I think we can't go too far wrong.
mhm. Yeah. As you're, I make that makes sense, and it really alludes to what you were saying earlier about, standing for something that you
Yeah,
believe in and having that level of conviction.
yeah,
Um, there's that old saying that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
true.
And
Mm,
yeah, I find that that's
mm.
empowering. And one thing that people may not know about you is you used to be a pastor in the church.
I did, I
Yeah.
did, and believe it or not, I used to love my time as a suppose from a spiritual point of view of helping people.
Mhm.
It was important to me, and I think that it also helped me in the way that I developed
Mm.
as a person because it gave me the spiritual side of my life, which probably if I hadn't been involved in that type of ministry, I probably wouldn't have able to contextualize things a lot better when I was confronted with issues that were specifically mine. And as I ministered to other people, I was basically ministering to myself, I found out later. And I used to love doing it. I used to love doing it. I used to love sharing my life experience up to that particular point. And although it was not 100% authentic, because, I had the fallibilities of just about every other human being that they had. And I realised that my spiritual life was an integral part of my growing journey. And that became extremely important to me. And it still is. It
Yeah.
still is.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know about the other authors or your readers or anything like that, but I can say right now and here and there, if it wasn't for that supernatural power, be it God or whoever you'd like to class as, the omnipotent one, the person that was interested in us and Mars, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be here today. That's how important it became to me, especially when I was going through dark periods in my life and questioning a whole heap of stuff that probably would have knocked me down if I didn't have some sort of a goal path to an aim for.
Something to lean on and
Sure.
to fall back on.
Yeah. Yeah. And people say, oh yeah, that part of your life is not important, and I would beg to differ very strongly on that. And I would say that if it wasn't for that power that I could cling to, life would be extremely difficult for me. Right, along my journey, it would have been a lot more difficult than what it is.
Yeah, it sounded like that was, yeah, obviously so necessary in that season of your life. When you go
Yeah,
through challenges now, like what do you fall back on? Is it more that a sense of understanding of who you are and what you stand for, or
yeah, John. Look, I guess I understand that we're all fallible human beings, and we definitely need help. And I guess one thing I do fall back on is prayer. That's my own thing. Communicate with I communicate with my God, and that's very important to me. I also have faith that He accepts me as a fallible human being,
mm,
but I'm in the best of my ability to live a life of purity, not purity, but authenticity. I'm basically a person who doesn't hide behind bad habits, doesn't hide behind a whole heap of stuff that I could deny, because I know that everything that I do and everything I say is an open book to that God that I class as important to me.
mm,
And therefore, I know that if I'm going through a dark patch in my life, that I can reach out. I can reach out at any time. And that gives me comfort. It also gives me strength. And it also gives me an awareness, because what comes through in intuition, and, I sometimes get very strong feelings about things
mm,
when I've got a question, when I've got a situation arise, and suddenly an answer, or what I consider an answer, will arise. It will come to me and say, Dave, you should. And I have learnt to trust my intuition, my gut feeling, in just about every situation that we come across, whether it be personal, whether it be public situation, whether it be a work situation, whatever. I will quite often just withdraw into myself and say, God, what am I supposed to do here?
mm.
Because it's bigger than me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I find
And
that that's incredibly empowering to be able to do that, to have that
mm, mm,
recognition that there is some a power and intelligence that's
mm,
woven in everything that's bigger
mm,
than us, and to actually then
yeah,
just surrender.
yeah, yeah. And it's interesting, John. I found I've been to Bali, you know, 3 times now, and we went to Ubud, and I found Ubud a very spiritual place, and I got a lot of spiritual help from that place, simply because of the nature of the place, the atmosphere, the people that are there, the people. I don't know if you found the same.
I did, and nearly everyone that I've spoken to that's been there for a period of time or multiple times
Mm.
has felt that. And the name Ubud in the Balinese language means place of healing, and it's where 5 rivers converge.
Is that
Um,
so? I never knew
it
that.
is, yeah, yeah. And it just is. I mean, it's just there's so much depth to Ubud. Like on the surface, it might feel like, oh, there's some main roads and a bit of traffic in the afternoons and mornings,
Yeah,
but yeah, you can just go down. There's a lot of depth to the place.
there
Um,
is, there is,
it really is. And in
and
terms
I
of,
love
yeah,
sort of places. I love getting into those sort of places because
you always
it,
discover something new.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. So
it
fascinating.
is, it
Yeah.
is, and I would head back there at a heartbeat. I really would.
Yeah, well, you're not too far away, so I think it's
No,
only
no, I've just got to
3 hour
convince
flight
my
from
wife.
Perth.
I've just got to convince my wife it's a good place to go for a week or two
Yeah,
again
right,
because
okay.
oh,
Maybe get
she
some
doesn't like the
groceries.
heat. Well, she's not really into the heat and humidity. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, around July, August, September, it's really nice then. It's not too humid. I think it's the
Yeah, right.
humidity to a lot
Yeah,
of people.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, and you can go in the mountains around Kintamani,
yeah,
just above Ubud, and
yeah,
it's a lot cooler. Ubud,
yeah.
July, August, September gets cooler in the evenings and the mornings.
Oh,
But up
yeah.
in up in the mountains, it gets really cold, especially around Badoogal, Kintamani. It can get
Yes.
really, cool in the early mornings and evenings. So,
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
well. I'll
There you
I'll,
go.
I'll have to investigate, John.
Yeah, mate, it's worth it. It's worth it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just I feel
I've
like
made
that's part of
I've
like the self-discovery for me. Like authenticity is a lot about just learning and understanding, myself
yeah,
and life and the environment, and having
yeah,
that sense of curiosity, and it can be as simple as, well, what's around this corner, or what's here, or what's this restaurant like, or asking a question of someone that, maybe
mm,
you're in an Uber ride or something like that, and just asking a
yeah,
question on what are you most grateful for today, or something like that, just to get a conversation going, rather than have you heard the news
yeah,
today, or the weather, or something like that. Just go like a layer a little bit deeper, or asking
yes,
someone what's their best advice, or what's the best advice you've ever received. And um,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
think
Look,
that's life's meant
yeah,
to be
that's
lived. And, yeah.
that's really it's really interesting. I guess really when I first meet people, you just exchange pleasantries just to get to know them rather than to get in too deep. But in reality, probably sometimes a thought-provoking question like that would sort out the so-called chaff from the wheat. If those people who are deep thinkers, they would come back with an answer. Otherwise, the other people would say, "What planet did you drop from?"
Right. Well, I mean, I think most people, have an awareness or an understanding of, what are you grateful for? It's so
Exactly.
easy just to,
Mm, mm,
I think it's easier to focus on the negatives rather than like, oh, well, this is happening in my life, or it just
yeah.
helps change your perspective and awareness. And
I notice as you get older, it changes too. What the things you're most grateful for.
I'm sure it does. And I think it comes back to what you really value. And I'd imagine you have a lot more of acute awareness around that, because,
Sure.
you've got some years under your belt. You've gone through
Yeah.
some experiences. You've lived things that you don't want to live anymore.
No,
Um, and you know where
doesn't
that
either.
road leads.
Yes.
That road's
Yeah.
got a massive pothole in it. I mean, I don't need to go down that road anymore because there's another one just down the way, and that
Yeah.
one's smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 and I suppose the benefit of age and life experience helps you to understand a little bit more of your values and what is most important, rather than you think, oh yeah, it's important, and then brush it to one side because what I'm doing today is okay. Thank you very much, and we'll deal with the other stuff a bit later on. But it doesn't become that way now. It becomes the most important thing is my self-preservation for a start. That's the most important thing to me. The fact that I wake up every morning is a bonus. When you get to your 70s and above, you start to realise the fragility of life. And when you bury your wife's cousin, like today, and she's only 2 or 3 years younger than
Mm,
you start to realise that, hey, all my peers, I seem to be meeting all my friends at the cemetery.
right. Yeah, well, I mean, I think everyone has got someone that, my dad passed away a few years ago. I had a lot of friends that are no longer here. Suicide
Mm,
is a big
mm,
thing, and gone too soon, gone too
mm.
soon. And I remember losing a lot close friend when I was just out of high school.
Yeah,
He was
right.
a roofer, and he had a set
Mm,
of power lines, and, you
mm.
know, and then he's gone. You know, he's here one day.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like you can ever take anything for granted. I mean, you can, and
Mm.
I think it's kind of like your health. You know, it's not until it's gone, it's taken away from you. I mean, you would just do anything to have your health. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I just do trust like that there's a divine reason and plan that we don't always know, and that there is a bigger picture, and that there is an aspect of us that your dear friend, your cousin, there's an aspect to her that water can't wet it, fire can't burn it, missiles can't destroy it, that's eternal, that lives on. And I found that with the passing of my dad, and he hasn't gone anywhere, he's just changed form.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I can
Mm.
look at a picture, I can meditate, I can think of him. He often shows me signs. He'll come through this species of bird called a greater
Mm.
cacao, and
Yeah.
I'll just hear. I was doing a bit of meditation on the weekend, and I was waiting for a visa to come through, and I was
Yeah.
just communing with my dad, and just like show me a sign if I'm on the right path, and it's going to be approved. And then out of nowhere, like this echo, I heard that the call of the bird,
Really?
and yeah, it was like that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
so
Beautiful.
within a
Love
couple of
it.
minutes of setting that intention. And so I
Yeah.
feel like we have a lot more power around like how we're showing up, and a lot more guidance than we may think. I don't feel like we're just as helpless as we may feel. And I
No.
also believe that life is for us, that it doesn't
Mm.
always feel like it. Oftentimes it's a gift wrapped in sandpaper, and it chafes the
I
end of
like
the
that.
fingers, but it's a
Yeah.
gift nevertheless. If you give it time,
It is. Yeah.
patience, if you've got a
Yeah.
vision, perseverance, and a goal to get through that paper, and the
Mm.
gift will be revealed.
Yeah.
And I find it helps to have a positive disposition, to look for
Mm.
things that you're grateful for.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
Otherwise, you can go down a road of, it can be very challenging, and you can see a lot more things to be uncertain about. And
Mm.
if you look back in history, there's always been something that hasn't been right in the world.
Oh, yes. Mm.
You
Yeah.
would have lived through the Vietnam War, and that was
I
like,
did.
oh, what's
I
going
did.
on? And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And I guess the basic learning that came out to me from that whole experience, and seeing friends and peers of mine actually go over there and then come back as broken individuals, it pointed out the futility of humanity in the way that they relate to each other. It's people's people's sacrifice for a cause have been misinterpreted as weakness in some respects, because they've been treated as though, okay, you've committed to this cause, but the cause has not been successful, so therefore you're a waste of space. You actually went over there and you didn't do anything because we didn't win. But some cases are non-winnable, because when you actually learn what the whole thrust of the Vietnam War particularly was about. I can remember a few Aussies that opened up when they came back said that we found that the North Vietnamese, the enemy, so to speak, in
right.
quotes, that the enemy was using all our munitions to fire back at us. Our AK-47s, our AR-15s, all our bullets and everything were either made in Australia or the US.
Mm,
And here we're Australians and Americans working side by side to try and defeat the enemy, and those same countries were supplying the North Vietnamese with the munitions to fight us with.
yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, talk about authenticity in that context, John, and we could go down a big rabbit hole.
yeah, absolutely.
because
I mean, like,
because
yeah,
was it a wasted war or not? And I believe, and I mentioned in my chapter, that it was. It was a
yeah,
wasted war, one always than one. And
yeah,
the only people that were successful were the ones that made all the ammunition,
mm,
basically.
yeah. I mean, it's a whole lot of you just yeah. I mean, we don't really get to see the big picture sometimes, and people
Oh,
just get caught in that the net of it, so to
yeah,
speak. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's like most things in life. There'll be negative experiences that come out of that, and there can also be some positive experiences as well. And
yeah.
I'm currently in Vietnam and applying. I just got my Thailand visa approved, and um,
All right, good.
it's a fascinating place, and the people are great. Have been wonderful, and it's
Yeah,
been an awesome experience. And yeah, it's just part of their history.
yeah, it is. It is.
Fortunate.
And probably they were a meat in the sandwich to be true, to be
Yeah,
fairly accurate. They would, you know, it's like in most countries, what we even see today in the likes of Iran and other Middle Eastern countries, that people just want to go about doing their job, enjoying life, raising a family, earning a living, and living in a quiet retirement. And now you have an element that comes in and either takes over your space or your government or something like that, and suddenly life changes whether you like it or not.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to sort of explain. I mean, I feel like you can get to choose of, how you show up. It doesn't matter. I feel like there's a great book, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and
All
he was
right.
in a
Mm,
concentration camp in World War
mm,
II, and he
mm.
said that you could decide how you showed up, and those people that thought that they didn't control their mind or their imagination,
Mm.
they really suffer. And he goes that those that actually made a decision to even still be positive in those situations or look for
Sure.
a different meaning, that
Yeah.
they survive. And that's a
Yeah.
really good book that maybe some people might find themselves in a situation where they feel they're a victim, they feel it's unfair, that life's against them. That
Mm.
book, what Viktor Frankl went through, he was a clinical psychologist,
Yeah.
um, has a doctorate and all the rest of it. But that book that he wrote, Man's Search for Meaning, is just,
Mm.
yeah, it's such an amazing book. And Kiki has joined us, one of our
I
fellow.
noticed that. Hi, Kiki.
Hi, hi, how are you? Sorry
I'm
for the
well.
delay.
Yourself?
I just finished the surgery and something happened, so I could not join you in time.
Oh no.
So what did I miss?
Ah, well, you're
A
here
deep
now.
dive, yeah. The wisdom of authenticity.
Yeah.
Dave was talking about what the wisdom of authenticity meant to him. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So
okay.
what does that mean to you?
As the question that I wrote also in my chapter, what does authenticity mean?
Yeah.
Well, it
The
means to be
wisdom of
authentic.
authenticity. Yeah, the wisdom of
Yeah.
authenticity. Yeah, like what does the wisdom of authenticity mean to you?
The wisdom of authenticity, sorry, kind of tired, but I'm fine. So for me, it is how can I describe it? It is not the knowledge exactly. It is the compass that you walk with, and you know how to honor yourself, how to find yourself, how to be your true self, and being as authentic as you can in a world where everybody has a persona, has a false mask on his or her face, and we are pretending to be something else than what we truly are. And this thing is scary, yes, because it's unfamiliar to us, but at the same time, it's exciting, it's thrilling, because it happens to begin a journey to find out something that this person was with you all your life, but you never really knew this person, and this person is you. So the wisdom of authenticity for me is my best friend. is my best friend, is my best coach, is my mentor. It's my whole wisdom. It's my teacher. It's my everything. So, and I can have a dialogue with this wisdom too, many times. We talk to each other. And yeah, I ask it, well, does this really feel authentic or not? And you know, it responds. If you make the right question, you get the answer sometimes. You may not get them in the usual way, you know, by words or but by a feeling, from your body. You feel something. And this is the drive for me, at least, to keep going and learning myself, because this is a journey. It's not just that, oh, okay, I've arrived now and that's done. I'm finished. No, it's a whole big journey.
I like that. I like that. So often, I mean, I can relate to what Kiki's saying. I'm sure you can, Dave. Do you ever
Yes.
feel like sometimes you get two voices when you ask a question?
Mm. Yes, I believe that. I
Okay.
totally believe, because you can say, well, which way do I go? Is it this way or that way? Because they're both saying, take me or choose me.
Right.
And it's a matter of being in tune with your inner self. In my case, if you're in tune with who you are as a person, you seem to have this innate knowledge to know which choice that you should make. Making either one choice or another if two voices are speaking to us. But innately we say, should I do this or should I do that? And unconsciously there's a little birdie in the back that's saying, yeah, no, you really should go that way. That's my case anyway. I don't know about you, Kiki, whether you find that way, but I do appreciate the way you're talking about the wisdom. The wisdom comes from that innate knowing in my book. I don't know how you relate to that.
I totally relate, totally.
Good.
And in
Yeah, I
order to
like it.
find this, yeah,
I like how you were
yeah,
saying that
Lester.
sometimes it's also that intuition, that it also comes in other ways. It could come as a sign. It could come as, a nature communicating. I mean, everything's connected, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course it is. We're
Yeah.
all interconnected.
Yeah. Actually, it's
Absolutely.
interesting, John. I never ever thought of quantum physics as a subject of any relevance until I actually started on the pathway of personal development, and then I realised how interconnected we are all. There is nothing animate or inanimate that is not connected. Molecularly, we're just a different recipe.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, different frequency, but just different
Yeah,
recipe for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
so true. And
And we are
I
so delicious,
Exactly.
right,
David, aren't
right,
we?
right.
Oh, I mean,
Each
Delicious. And
one of us.
it's just
I like
it's
it.
been fascinating. This book has been an amazing collaboration, and we've received a lot of feedback from readers globally. And
Mm,
there's been a lot of parallels Dave was mentioning before, Kiki, about um, parallels and common threads throughout the book, and one of them being that our childhood creates such a foundation, and oftentimes that it's not what we would choose, but so much gifts can come out of that. How are you being able to calibrate different things that happened to you during your childhood, and how has that served your in understanding who you are today?
Are you asking me, John?
Yes, yeah, Kiki. I did say
Ah,
Kiki,
okay.
yes.
Okay. Could you repeat the question, maybe a little bit reframe it?
Sure. So Dave was saying before, we are having a conversation before you arrived, and Dave
Mhm.
was saying about how the wisdom of authenticity, like there's a thread throughout the book. Have you read our book yet?
I just today
Oh,
my books
okay.
are arriving.
Well, we'll help to
My
read the
my
book.
order just Yes, right now, this day,
Okay.
maybe now in a few minutes they will come to give them to me. So no, I haven't read it yet,
It's all good, all good.
but
Well,
I definitely
I'll
will.
reframe it this way. I can understand why you didn't understand the question. That all good. Sorry to put you on the spot, but
No, it's
I thought you
fine.
would have read
It's
it
fine.
by now. But all good. It's all in divine timing, and I basically you spoke a lot about your childhood, touched on it a little bit. How had that, helped you find your own authenticity or understand your values now?
By having some obstacles, some misfortunes, you could say, some difficult situations, which now I know they were blessings in disguise. Because as I said before, and I'm sure David will agree with that, that's what my intuition says, that we have a mask, okay? We pretend to be something different. So we are born and we are conditioned from the very first day that we are born in this world. We are conditioned to what to believe, how to behave, what to say, what to think, what to study, everything. So when you are a baby, you cannot discern what's true and what's false. So many circumstances and situations which someone could call, bad or very sad or disappointing or whatever. Everybody, each one of us has these kind of situations, different for each person, but we have a choice. And each one of us, like as me, I made a choice. So the situations that I had in my childhood and the things that I lived and the, let's say, dysregulation and dysfunctional situations that I was growing up and I was living these situations. So I took a message from them. And the message was either I stay the same and I can be bitter, I can be angry, and I can be much worse than the paradigm that I had, or I can use this experience as a fuel to be something totally different. And so I made a choice. So my childhood was really a blessing. I mean, there are much, much worse things out there, John and David, much, much worse, okay? And there's not a competition here. But we are unique. Each one of us is unique. We have already decided which experiences to live in order to wake up and remember who we truly are. So we have to deal with some things that nobody would like, but we have the choice how to use them, whether it's going to be the fire that will burn us or it's going to be the fuel that will expand us. And yes, I totally believe that there are no accidents, no coincidences, no bad things. Everything is a chance to take it, to grab it, and say, okay, I have this now in front of me. What am I going to do with it? Because it's up to us, it's our power. When we are children, of course, we don't remember that. So, as a quote, I'm sure you've heard this quote. It says, you're not responsible for what happened to you during your childhood, but you're totally responsible when you're an adult to heal and be a better person.
Yeah, I
I'll
like
take
that.
that one. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard something similar that it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not your
To
fault. Yeah.
choose. Yeah. And one words. Yeah.
So
That's
I'm
what
I'm really grateful for all these things. I mean, everybody has. I mean, maybe mine may seem minor to others, or the opposite. It does not matter. It's my experience, how I used it. So I'm grateful for everything. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here writing this chapter to this wonderful book with all these wonderful co-authors and meeting and knowing John. And oh my God, I mean, how blessed.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true. There's a silver lining in every cloud, and
Mm.
we get to choose what perspective, the way that we see it, and what meaning we give to events in our life. And as you said, it can be something that empowers us, or something that, yeah, disempowers us. I believe you said it can burn us or be fuel to expand our life.
Yeah,
And like that.
Mm.
yeah.
You just finished surgery, is that right? You're a dental surgeon.
Yes, yes. So maybe you can see the line of my of all the equipment that I wear. So, but it's fine. You see, I'm as authentic as possible
There you go. As
right
you are.
now,
Yeah.
right here, as I am with
Just left
my
the mask
dirty
hanging up.
uniform.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
That's all right. That's all right. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with honest work.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
know, of course, I
Mm.
know.
And like I know you agree with what Kiki was saying, Dave. Do you have anything to add to that or speak into that?
Yeah, look, I agree wholeheartedly with what Kiki said, that nothing happens in our life that is not preordained or it's not. Totally agree with that. What came to me just then, John, and this is something that was just like a light bulb moment, is that what we underestimate is the power of choice. That why do we choose what we choose? I mean, it's getting in deep, but if our life is a series of events and we have to choose whether it be from our intuition or from valued analysis, what drives the power of choice? Have have we each sort of thought about that and sort of said, well, what makes me choose? What makes me choose this way or that way? Um, yeah, and there's no wrong or right answer because every answer that we have is correct for us, but maybe not for somebody else. And Kiki, you probably
Yeah.
know that because it's all, we have so many drivers that have driven our life or guided our life, if you want to put it that way, up to where we are currently. How did we get here through the power of choice? And it's just a thought that just ran through my mind while Kiki was talking. That's all. How did we get here? What drivers do we have to make us choose the way that we?
Well, Maggie May is
Maybe
saying,
we should write.
yeah, well, we've got a comment here from Maggie May. Her name's Carly, and she
Yeah,
believes 90% of the time our influences make us choose. So what we're influenced by, I guess.
yeah,
For me,
right.
it's
Maybe
So
we
having
should
another,
write a new
drivers.
chapter.
yeah, yeah, there you go.
Maybe we should write a new chapter about that,
Yeah,
Yeah, because
John.
I just
yeah,
don't feel like
yeah,
anyone
mate.
can make you feel a certain way without your permission. And
Yes,
even if
yeah,
someone's trying to like shame you or make you feel guilty, you really have to accept that to acknowledge that. I really believe that we get to choose how we feel, what we're showing up, how we're showing up. And I feel it comes back a lot, Dave, to what we value, what's important to you, what makes your heart
exactly.
sing.
Mm.
What are some hobbies and things that you can focus on? And what sort of questions do you ask yourself? How can I make the world a better place? How is this event or experiencing serving me, serving others? Who do I have to become to rise above this? And
Mm.
I feel like sitting down, and Dave was saying before, Kiki, I'm not sure if you've got a similar process. I'm sure you do. One of the things that Dave did, he wrote down a whole series of answers to questions are like, well, what do I believe in? What do I value? What's important to me? And I find that that can get you clear on who you are. And I feel like nothing, doesn't matter what happens in your life, no one can take that away from you, your experiences. and you get to choose how you interpret those experiences.
Mm.
Good idea,
You
John.
think
Good
that,
idea, John
yeah.
and David. Yeah, good
Yeah.
idea.
Mm.
Do you have a
Yeah.
process you do, Kiki, that helps you understand more about yourself and helps you feel empowered and not like a victim?
I meditate, and this helps a lot.
Okay.
I meditate, connect with nature, listening to my body. If it wants to walk, I walk. If it wants to eat or drink something specific, it does it. I mean, I let it. Or if it doesn't want to eat something, I don't do it. So, no, excuse me. No, no. So I try to respect what's me, and grounding, big help. Mother Earth, grounding, and but meditation, I would say the number one. You know, staying by yourself in silence with your presence, being present, and you just connect with your wisdom of authenticity. That's it. I mean, and it doesn't need a lot. Many people, misunderstand what meditation is, and that they should not think of something, that they should keep their mind empty. No, 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 I disagree with that. It's exactly the opposite. You just watch your thoughts coming in like clouds, and you just watch them. You just make a zoom out. And this helps me a lot. I don't know about you, David, or John, but this helps me a lot.
So
I didn't,
in your
yeah,
so can I just ask you a question,
sure.
Kiki? So in your meditation, what I'm hearing is that you actually observe and listen, and that's
Mm-hmm.
you get messages from the observations that come into your mind, and you listen to the thoughts that go through, and you make your value judgments on that. Is that correct?
I watch my thoughts,
Yeah.
and most of the times, every thought comes with a feeling or many feelings. So,
Yeah.
whatever feeling arises, I just let it be expressed. So, during meditation, I may find myself crying for no
Yeah.
reason, for no
Yeah.
obvious reason, or I may get very sad, be in
Yeah.
grief, or excited, or even joyful. And that's wonderful when it happens. And
Mm.
so, no judgment. I just let everything to come as it wants to come when it wants to come, because all these are energies, David. I'm
Mm.
sure you've
Mm.
already knew that from quantum physics. Every
Yes.
emotion, every feeling is an energy that just wants to pass through our body, nothing else. When we
Yeah.
condemn it, when we judge it, when we push it away, when we distract ourselves from it, that's when it gets rigid into our identity. And that's how it's more difficult for us to feel it in the future.
Good. Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, that's what I do.
That's great. Thank you very
Nice.
much.
Have you ever
No,
tried
thank you.
meditation, Dave, at all? That was great share. Thanks, Kiki. But I mean, for me, it's just second nature to meditate. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, John. I don't know. Meditation to me has sort of. It's been. I don't know whether you call it meditation in such a way. I don't sit cross-legged and go or anything like that. Sit around in a circle with their fingers joined together on their knees and doing that sort of stuff. Um, I just my meditation, if you want to put it that way, is just being still.
Okay.
Is just being still in what I do and not thinking of anything in particular, but just observing what comes into my mind, what thoughts are going through, things that just pop up out of the blue, and I just observe. I just observe and take note of what's going on, and from that I either get a feeling of acceptance and acknowledgement, or I get a feeling of uncertainty, one of the two. And the uncertainty side of things is something that I have to physically deal with, because that's a part that's under question in my body and in my mind. So that's meditation to me, Kiki. It might be different to to us all. I've never actually taken formal meditation classes or anything like that.
No, no. You know, David, I meditate while I wash dishes.
Right. Yeah.
You can meditate there while you're
Yeah.
having your bath,
Yeah.
while you're drinking your coffee or your tea.
That's
There's
right.
not any protocol here. You can meditate anytime while walking.
Mm.
As you said, you're
Yeah.
just still. Stillness, it's not the outside stillness. It's not like sitting in a lotus pose in yoga, and I practice yoga.
Yeah.
Stillness inside, being the observer. So it's exactly the same.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're on the same page then. Thank you.
Yeah.
And of course, when you get a chance, Kiki, you'll be able to read Dave's chapter and
Of course, it's gonna be
similar
the first.
parallels. There's some similar parallels to your experiences and what you share. And he also does a deep dive into his childhood and how that affected the way he saw the world, the way he interacted with the world. And a lot of the chapters have a similar theme to that, a deep dive and the different experiences into their life and how it affected the way that they show up and, interact with the world today. And it's an amazing read. I'm not sure if you read some of the reviews, but the reviews there's new ones every day. And of course, the book has been well received in, I think, number one in 8 countries. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And I would love to just, I really appreciate the trust that you both gave me and my team in the whole process. And it was a bit of a birthing experience. I think it was 9 months in the process, and people
Yeah.
finished at different speeds. I know Kiki was one of the
Mm.
first, and
Mm.
Dave, you were as well. And people go through different experiences. I mean, one of the authors had to rebuild after a flood and lost her home, and we had other ones, go through different experiences and that kind of put them off their center, if you like. But I really appreciate everyone stepping up and sharing, no matter what. And the feedback has been awesome, and I hope it's been worth it for everyone. I'd love, just before we wrap up. I've got to get going soon. It's just been just over an hour now, and um, I'd love to know, like, what's really uh, how important is it? Like, what's the most important thing to understand or have an awareness of when navigating your life, when navigating, well, what is my truth, and who am I really? Maybe if you'd like to speak into it first, Dave.
I think an understanding of who you are personally as a human being and your reason for being here would be tantamount in my book to being authentic. We each have a inestimable value as a human being. It's how we view that and how honest we are in the way that it drives our lives. And basically, if there's any takeaway from the whole experience for me, it's been a new awareness of my value as a human, my influence to my family and friends and the wider community in the world, and my wish and desire to make the world a better place because I've lived.
I like that. I like it. Um, yeah, it speaks to so much, and yeah, that's. Do you understand the question, Kiki? Do you understand what?
I'm trying to, because because David explained it so well, and I'm not sure I will answer exactly your question, or maybe I will just continue David's answer. So if you would like to repeat it, please. Yes.
Whatever feels alive for you, that's okay. Just as a last thought on, like, what do you feel is important to actually, discover, your truth and what it means to be you.
Why is it important?
Yeah, like what, like, why is it like important for you to like discovering who you are? Like, what's some things that are important to help people discover who they are? Like, what's been important for you or necessary for you to discover who you are?
Because I was not feeling good when I was not.
Good
I
answer.
was
I like that.
I was not feeling good when I was not. I mean, how much anxiety or melancholy a person can bear, or stress all the time, or just like running after life. I mean, it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. I mean, I couldn't do it anymore. So finally, you reach to a point that you say, okay, that's enough. I have to do something. And the first thing that I did is that I took my power back by taking personal responsibility, John, because it's very easy to blame others, all the time. That's why I don't. And I told you before, even the misfortunes that happened were my stepping stones for my expansion and my growth, not my obstacles. And that's why I'm very grateful for everything that has happened in the past. And I really love the people of my past. I love my family much more, not more now, more authentically now. Because love for me is what? Accepting someone or something as it is, not forcing it to change because you want it to be changed. Yes, I would love to have different relationships even right now with the people that I love. But since this is not aligned with how I am right now, I cannot force them to do that. And that's fine. That's really fine. And this is unconditional love for me. And it's so important because I mean, oh my God, you're so relieved. You're so free after that. You feel liberated. You take your power back and you can be a better mother, better wife, better friend, better. You do your job much, much better. You expand and you find your other possibilities and capabilities that you have. For example, I'm a surgeon and oh my God, I'm writing chapters now. Who could have thought that in the past? I mean, it's crazy. I'm also a hypnotherapist. And yes, I want to find more. I wouldn't be able to do that if I were stuck in the same place as the same person in the past. So it was really huge for me.
Cool. Love it.
Nice. Well said. Yeah. And I feel like you both have found that sense of purpose,
Mm.
a sense of, this is, I have an understanding of why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's not just by accident. You decide what you're doing because it's something that aligns with who you are as a person. And I
Mm.
find that you both found that.
Mm.
I
That's
found that
true.
so
Thank
being
you.
so important in my journey as well. I mean, having that sense of purpose, without it, I mean, my life wouldn't have any meaning. And so publishing stories like both of yours brings meaning to my life, and I know it does for readers as well. And I'm constantly learning from the authors that I get to publish, and it's just an honor and a privilege. And so I appreciate your trust in me, my team, as I said before, and um, yeah, it's an amazing book. If you haven't read it yet, it's on Amazon. It's still only 99 cents for the ebook if you'd like to support the Jules Children's Home, or 15.50 on the paperback, or it's 9.99 on Audible. And really appreciate you spending some time with me today, Dave and Kiki. And
Thank
yeah, I've
you.
got a lot of
You're
comments as
welcome, John.
well. Thank you, Maggie May, aka Carly. And yeah, really should be a lot of comments there and following along. So we appreciate your presence and peace out. Appreciate you both.
Thank you, John.
I
Thank you,
appreciate you,
John.
John. David, I will send you a message after when I read your chapter. Wait for it.
Beautiful. Thank you,
Okay,
Kiki.
bye guys. See ya. Thanks for
John,
your
thank you so
time.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.